Don't get fooled by Kirsten Sinema, okay? And don't be fooled by this either. She was never in any danger. This was all a total show. And at the end of the day, she just likes the spotlight, okay? Oh, I'm this moderate. No, you're a socialist to your fucking core. You were a part of the Socialist Party. Like it says here, but this is also the People's Central, if we're being completely fair on this one. It is an affiliate of USA Today, and we all know what the USA Today is about. I've referenced this, a fair few times, but it also bears repeating and just documenting for posterity's sake. Kirsten Sinema entering the fray for the United States Senate. Remember, this was published in 2017 when she won that totally 100% legitimate senatorial special election. Oh, no, that was a full election in 2018 for John Flake and then John Kyle's vacated seat. A bunch of worthless losers. And people were trying to dig up different dirt on her, but then they let her talk, and then they realized that she was spewing enough dirt, so then they just kind of muzzled her and then just told her to play with the crayon box until she found an appropriate hair color for what she wants to display that day. So yeah, let's read some of this op-ed from this totally unbiased journalist, sorry. And Republicans instantly got the race off to the wrong foot. Oh my god, no way. Republican campaign operatives and the Jeff Flake campaign itself revived the charge that Sinema is a liberal radical. That I can sort of agree on, because all of these talking points from these old school Republican establishment types, they always harp on the socialism, the radical socialist left, the Marxists that are out there. You can call her out for being a filthy commie, but at the same time, if you're just going to use those blanket terminology words, it falls on deaf ears for people who are attuned to this kind of stuff. Former Green Party candidate Ralph Nader supporter she self-proclaimed herself, obviously that's what the term means, Prada socialist. Okay? This isn't exactly unfair. Sinema does have a radical background. She did all those things. Do voters care about Sinema's past? Not the ones that we asked, because we're very fair and unbiased. This is such a fluff piece. Do voters care about Sinema's past? However, she has a 10-year record as an elected official. 6 as a state legislator and 4 as a member of Congress. She has recast herself as a Democratic centrist and has the voting record to back it up. Care to provide it? Nah. All you need to do is just look at how she's voted as a Democratic senator since being elected in 2018. I use elected very loosely. She is one of the most liberal senators prior to 2020. She still votes mostly, actually 100% along party line. All she does is just come out and say, I support the filibuster. Because just like Joe Manchin, she's still a Democrat at heart. If ever pressed on the subject, she'll fall right directly in line. She just likes all the accolades that it has right now. At the end of the day, all the members of Congress has to do is consequential in his or her vote. How that is used is the only thing that really matters. Thanks. So reviving the Pravda socialist days is not so much unfair as irrelevant. There is much in Sinema's record as a public official worth exploring with voters. She's not been a consistent centrist. She generally has supported easing up on business regulation, except when the environment is concerned, which is always what the Democrats couch their arguments in. On social and cultural issues, she remains very liberal, just like the rest of her voting record. But just take a look at everything that Kirsten Sinema supports. Medicare for all, a living wage, which just means more money, and then eventually just continuing to increase it in perpetuity until everybody makes fucking 9 digits a year and everybody buys loaves of bread with wheelbarrows full of cash. An economy of peace. What the fuck does that even mean? Sinema sponsored fairy tale legislation to create a federal department of peace and nonviolence. Ugh. To resolve conflicts frequently led by anti-military protests, once even wearing a pink tutu, and lobbied to shut down Luke Air Force Base. Yuck. He's a sitting U.S. senator, folks. Immigration justice, which is a very popular talking point in Arizona. Green industry and support for socialism. Sinema once described herself as a believer in socialism as long as she can keep her fabulous accessories and published opinion pieces in Arizona Republic calling for the end of capitalism. But she's a centrist, guys. I totally remember that. That's why I pay absolutely zero attention to a bunch of radicals doing some kind of a sit-in outside of Sinema's office in Arizona. Jesse Jackson and William Barber arrested at anti-filibuster sit-in outside Kirsten Sinema's office in Phoenix. Do kindly go fuck yourself. Reverends Jesse Jackson and William Barber were released from police custody on Monday after being arrested at a sit-in outside Democratic Sinema office in Arizona. The demonstration held in Phoenix was held to demand an end to the filibuster, a move opposed by Sinema that would remove the 60-vote threshold for passing most pieces of legislation. Jackson and Barber, who were among the 39 people arrested, faced misdemeanor criminal trespassing charges. Imagine that. Sitting outside of a federal office and only receiving misdemeanor criminal trespassing charges. Weird. Two-tier justice system. The organization that hosted the sit-in, Repairers of the Breach, said Jackson and Barber were among the group facing charges they will never, ever spend a moment in jail for because there's all the Reverend Jesse Jackson after all. Protesters outside of the senator's office favor the Democrat-backed For the People Act, which passed the House but was blocked last month by Senate Republicans. You know, the For the People Act, the one that federalizes elections, mandates mail-in balloting, does away with any sort of voter ID or any sort of signature checks. The one that, enshrines, I'll go ahead and use the mainstream media word on this one, fortifies elections going forward. Thanks, Time. You gave everybody a really, really great term to use when referencing all of these wonderful... What's the Democrat side of this? Because the Republicans and common sense individuals have election integrity laws. I guess kind of election undocumented migrant voting laws. Fair enough. That's what they want. And it's a especially hot topic in Arizona. And I'm using the phrase hot topic to describe the audit that's going on right now, not the place that Kirsten Sinema likes to shop for nightwear. Because, more information about the audit keeps on coming out. And can't be having that. Cannot be having that. And now one of the strongest advocates, one of the top people who is in charge of this entire audit, is threatening to walk out on it because he's not allowed to look at any of the numbers anymore. Doesn't seem sus at all now, does it? Arizona Senate liaison for the Maricopa County 2020 election audit is threatening to step down if he is denied access to critical aspects of the controversial review. It's only controversial if you have something to hide. Ken Bennett, a former Arizona Secretary of State, said he was on the verge of resigning after being blocked last week from entering a facility at Phoenix State Fairgrounds where Cyber Ninjas and Cypher and 3 other audit firms are conducting the audit. But it's just Cyber Ninjas, right, guys? Is conducting a ballot recount, but reconsidered, at least for now, after speaking with Arizona Senate President Karen Fann, the only good Karen. I did come on the show today to step aside or step down, whatever you want to call it, as liaison, Bennett told the Conservative Circus, apropos really, host James Harris, on radio station 550 KFYI on Monday, but that may not be what needs to happen. Bennett said his blockage from entering the audit building happened Friday after he shared sample details from the ballot box counts with election technology analyst Larry Moore and Benny White. I'd promised that, information would not be leaked to the press, but it indirectly got done so. I wonder by who, Katie Hobbs. Next time, if you don't want her to leak any of the information, just write it or inscribe it on a slate of chocolate, because it will never ever leave her sight. But it indirectly got done so, and how I got barred from the audit, Bennett said, adding, I remain fully committed to the audit, and it is absolutely critical, as I said earlier, we answer in the minds of people. And because said information was getting out there, and they held that little Senate hearing as well to release all the preliminary numbers where it just looked like numbers really weren't adding up, okay? Official ballot totals, they weren't necessarily met. And the accuracy of the different machines were very horribly calibrated. Is about as specific as I can get because I don't have everything in front of me, and even if I did, I would still get nuked off the platform. But besides that, we all got some very good information from specific Twitter accounts. And unfortunately, we live in a day and age where a lot of good journalism gets done on Twitter. And that definitely happened to be the case for the Maricopa County audit. In a bunch of the different audits, or rather the videos on the audits themselves, I was using Maricopa County Audit's Twitter page, the War Room's audit page, and then going forward into the future with Wisconsin going to be doing their audit. Pennsylvania keeps moving towards it. Texas is going to be auditing 13 counties. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and not to mention Fulton County in Georgia, they're still doing their thing. But the reason that the information is kind of slowed to a crawl is because Big Tech's got the Democrats back. Once again, I hate to be a broken record. Twitter suspends 2020 Maricopa County election audit accounts. And many more. Twitter on Tuesday appeared to suspend several accounts dedicated to 2020 election audits. What was their reason behind it? Very funny. Very funny. Like, they need a reason over at Twitter. When trying to access the Maricopa County audit, the Audit War Room and various War Room accounts dedicated to Wisconsin, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Georgia, Twitter wrote accounts suspended. Yes. The War Room account had more than 40,000 followers, and the Maricopa County Audit account had nearly 100,000 followers. Yes, they were doing on-the-ground live coverage of all this stuff, putting out the clips of the different hearings as well, and really, they were doing yeoman's work until Twitter figured that out and then got rid of the accounts. The accounts then displayed Twitter's boilerplate message: Twitter suspends accounts that violates Twitter rules. Which rules? Maricopa County Audit account, namely, would provide updates on Arizona Senate authorized audits of Maricopa County's 2020 ballots and election equipment. If that doesn't scream state actor, I don't know what does, okay? They were just parroting exactly what was coming out from the Arizona State Senate themselves, okay? Nothing fantastical, nothing was made up, it was just the straight news source. But you couldn't be having any of that get out there. Now, could you, Democrats? You just really couldn't. You just couldn't leave this one alone. You couldn't wear that fucking L because you're hyping this up. It's like, oh, if all of these audits reveal that, oh my God, something bad happened in 2020 that was totally 100% unexpected, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What's going to happen if all of these numbers get out there? Well, what they also don't tell you is something that I've been telling you guys since the exact beginning, when all of this stuff started. Even if everything gets flipped, okay? Fill in the blanks yourself. Trump doesn't just turn up to the White House. He just doesn't get the keys again. That's not how this works. We don't reset the clock. It's not another 4 years of Trump yet. It's the impeachment process after this, okay? You'd have to impeach Biden. You'd have to impeach Harris. You'd have to impeach Nancy Pelosi, who would then become the president. And then after that, it just falls down, and it would take literally forever for Trump to get there. Okay? All you're going to do, the only important thing that can come out of all of these audits is figuring out where the holes were beforehand, using the information gathered from the different audits that are out there, close those loopholes, try again in 2022. Get everything done by the time that 2022 rolls around, and then hope 2024 produces a much more favorable result, a much more fair result. But if companies, let's just not even say people at this point, if companies keep on suppressing information, there won't be a need for a vote in 2022. There won't be a need for a vote in 2024 because Big Tech has your back. They're doing the thinking for you. Isn't that so nice, guys? With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.